Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Denise Lesia, for those of you who don't know. We have a guest speaker this morning, Carol DeChaine. She is a spiritual guide for practical matters. She loves helping people search for deeper meaning and connection in life to remove their limiting beliefs and stories. She will be sponsoring a workshop after the service called Rich in Every Way, and she will tell you a little bit more about that. But if you're ready to have some fun and shift your life to a richer, more joyous place, join Carol for this experiential workshop. Would you please join me in welcoming Carol DeChaine?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. I've been in Unity since I was 12. On and off, different churches. Started with Sunday school, YOU, lots of different churches, but even more ministers who seem to come and go. Some faster than others, just when you get used to them. I know you're going through that transition. And also, I was in a lot of classes at Walnut Creek Unity when I was lucky enough to have someone there that really was wonderful. She had so many classes all the time. And from the very beginning, it was obvious that Unity talked about prosperity and abundance. And it was something we all could have as much as we allowed ourselves to have it. Once you get past your fears and your limiting beliefs and all those other things that kind of get in our way, or we have everything we want now, right? And sometimes we have wonderful things in our lives and sometimes things we'd like to work on. So what I'm going to talk about today is shifting your perspective on abundance just a little bit. 3 things to maybe think about when you're working on what I prefer to call the squeaky wheel areas of your life, so that you can just keep them in mind and see if they help you move forward. And then the last thing is to give you just a little sneak peek on the workshop so that you can see if it's something that resonates with you. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes because I'm going to have 3 affirmations that I want you to just sort of feel into to see where you're at, kind of take the pulse on where you're at the moment with them. If you are over the moon, think you're wonderful, or if you have an afterthought of, it's great, but I can't do that. Or vice versa, we seem to have those fears that come up, for different things. So I'll say it once, feel into it, I'll say it again, and then we'll do it together. So 3 times. Okay, so close your eyes. And just know that there's no right or wrong answer. Just check in with yourself on how you're feeling right now. The first affirmation is, I deserve an abundant and prosperous life. Just feel into that. I deserve an abundant and prosperous life. Together, I deserve an abundant and prosperous life. And how does that feel? So the second one is, I deserve to be rich in every way. I deserve to be rich in every way. So one more time and all together. I deserve to be rich in every way. And how does that one feel compared to the first one? Is there any difference? Any shifts? And then the third one is, I am rich in every way. That one might be a little more tough to agree to. So I am rich in every way. Together, I am rich in every way. Compare how you felt with the first one, I deserve an abundant and prosperous life. I am rich in every way versus, or I deserve to be rich in every way, and then I am rich. See, just take that pulse, see how you're doing. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I just want to say that being human beings, we always have those little glitches in there. So if you do, you'll be aware that that's one of the things holding you back. And I use the word rich because it's usually about finances, but it's not in a thesaurus. The thesaurus says rich and richness is the same thing as plenty and bounty and, yes, abundance and prosperity. So it depends on how you think about it, and the whole world thinks usually rich, cash, money, things I own. But really, it's more than that. And if you can allow those little bits to fall away of the nerves and the worry and maybe what you've been kind of programmed yourself through the life that you've had to believe about richness, that perhaps it's about people being greedy, or they want more power, or they're not nice people because they look down on you and you don't want to be that. And then there's the old standby of you can't be spiritual and rich, right? I mean, we've heard that too somewhere along the line. And even if you don't believe any of that, if you have a little bit of glitch through the richness, it's holding you back somehow. So that's the thing, if you can shift your perspective, even that tiniest little bit. If you're going along in your life and it's the same, and you know you've heard it forever, it's going to be the same until you die, probably. And if you're having a fabulous life, you're in good shape. If you'd like more, then maybe you need to think about these little teeny tiny, because even if you just go a tiny little bit off, you'll be going towards what you want. Or you might go in the opposite direction, but basically, if you know where you're headed, if you know what your goal is, and what your dream and vision is for your future, you'll be able to recognize it when you get there. But if you're getting in your car and you're going somewhere, and you ask Google, hey, take me, I don't know where it's taking somewhere. It's going to go, what? Okay, fuzzy dream, fuzzy life, right? You get what you get. And you don't take, you have no idea where you're going, you don't even know when you're going to get there, if you're going to like it or not. But if you have something in your mind, the clearer and the more vision you can get about what you want, the more you'll recognize it when you get there, and you can plan for it, you can shift towards it, because you might be here and it might be there in a different vibration than you are, but if you can start feeling towards it and having, you'll start getting closer and closer to it, and all of a sudden it'll drop in your lap. And you'll go, how'd that happen? But if you don't know where you're headed, you're not going to be able to make that shift. And we're going to talk about this a lot in the workshop. So one of the things I want to just mention is that you can have a wonderful daydream, but if you don't put focus on it and vision towards it, that's what it is. It's a wonderful daydream. It's something that probably, maybe parts of it may come true, but you probably aren't going to get the whole thing. Now, I did go to San Francisco Unity not that long ago. It took me forever to get there. And it was because, it's not the most user-friendly place to get to. It's not right off of the BART line. It takes a while. And I finally made it there, and of course, there was a reason synchronistically why I showed up on that day and not 6 months sooner. Because he was, I think maybe you know Reverend Ken, I think it's Daigle. He used to be in Fremont, I think. He is now in San Francisco, and he's been a Unity minister forever. And he was talking about some of what I'm talking about today, and I already had planned to talk about. And he said something I wanted to pass on to you. He said that he is always talking to his friends, his ministerial students that he went to school with like forever ago. And they always had a laugh because they would be connected to different churches. They'd be going and like auditioning to the different churches and talking to the board. And the first thing they said was, we want to grow. And they said, of course you do. That's why you want to be minister. You want to have more people. You want to have more joy, more fun, share the information. And then the very next thing, which is what they laughed about, is, no, we don't want to change. Sometimes don't we kind of get there? If your life is going really bad, you want to change it. Growing, you may think about, yeah, that's fine, but I want to change it because it really sucks right now. But if you're in the great section of your life, you might think, yes, I want to grow, but it's fine, I don't need to change. And then if you're somewhere in the middle, that's where it gets you. It's like you're going, it's fine, it's okay, it's not great, but I'm fine. You're fine. But you want to grow, but it's too comfortable to change. And that's where it gets, like I say, it gets you. So what do you do? Well, life has a way of making you change. It has a way of speaking up and saying, oh, I'm over here, fix me. Or adjust something, because I call those areas of your life the squeaky wheels. And those areas come up and they get all your attention. And you're going, okay, great. What do I do? How do I get through this area of my life? So I have 3 things that I want you to think about, if you're so inclined, the next time you start focusing on those areas of your life. because you know there are parts of your life that work really, really well. Even if you're having a not so great day, there's always something that you can depend on and fall back on, whether it's a person, your loved one, a friend, you have a great career, something's happening that's doing really well for you. And you can focus on that. But if you focus on the wheel, the squeaky wheel, to the extent that you're ignoring what's working, eventually you may not have what's working anymore. Because 100% or 1,000% is here, and it's fine for a short time, but if all of a sudden you take that time and you're going, oh, and all you do is complain, like to the person. So if work is a mess, you spend 100,000% of your time there, you might lose your family. Or you might do the opposite, and sometimes it's worth that thought. If you have a sick child or something, you might go, if work goes to hell, I'm fine with that. Sorry. But sometimes you have to decide, I'm okay because this is more important, and you make those priority calls. But you want to be aware of what you're doing so that you know. So that's the first thing. Don't ignore what's working for what's the squeaky wheel without making a conscious decision. And the second thing to think about is the law of attraction. Now, everyone's usually heard of the law of attraction. Basically, it's what you put your attention on is what you get more of, right? The very basics of it. So if you pay attention to squeaky wheel, what do you get?
More squeaky
All
wheel.
over your life, squeaky wheels everywhere. You're going, what the heck? I was going along fine with that. What happened? And then all of a sudden, not only might that happen, but you might start to feel like, I am doing better. But it's not going beyond the first step I thought I wanted to take. I wanted to get it improved a whole lot better than where it's at. And as an example of what I mean by that, I was at one of those Walnut Creek Church classes, and some lady that I don't even remember her name anymore, she came up to me and she said, I've been doing really well with prosperity, and I was a mess. I don't remember why she was telling me this, but she came up and she said, I used to have people calling me because I couldn't pay my bills, and I hated answering the phone, the old landlines, And so she said what she did is she took a class in Unity, and she says, oh my God, I learned about gratitude. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I learned about it, and I started being grateful I could pay my bills. And before I knew it, months went by, but all of a sudden I had enough money, I could pay all my bills. Every time I sent a check, it was that long ago, she sent a check out, she wrote, I bless you on the check. She was so grateful, and she was happy. She put it in an envelope, she sent it out, and she said it was working. One day she got a bonus from the office, and the bonus was very exciting. It was enough to take her family on vacation, and she said before she knew it, the same day, she had a bill that was almost for the same exact amount. Because she was grateful she could pay her bill, so the universe gave her another bill. So she said, I wasn't real happy with that, but I said I was grateful that I had the money to pay the stupid bill that came up. I think it was a car or something, car repair. And she said, it happened again. She got another bonus, maybe 6 or 8 months later, she had another bill came up. She said, no, something's wrong with this. So I realized what I'm doing is sending out this intention. I'm attracting to me, a lot of attraction is happening, I'm getting what I want, but maybe I'm not doing this like the way I want to do it. I need to expand my gratitude, maybe. So when she expanded it, she shifted the way she was doing it. She ended up saying, okay, now I'm grateful for having more than enough to pay my bills and put money aside for my kids' education, for my retirement, for vacations, and I have more than enough, so I even have more than that. And she said, I started putting aside $5 every single month. Just so I opened a bank account, and I started with 100, even though I didn't have it. And then I started putting in $5 in every one of those, and I was grateful. And she said, all of a sudden, I started putting aside more and more, and I don't even know where the money came from. All of a sudden, I had hundreds in there, and then I had thousands in there. And she said, this stuff works. So all I'm saying is, when you're focusing on that squeaky wheel, and you're realizing something's not quite working the way you want it to, look at how you're doing it. See if there's a way you can adjust how you're doing it, just in case that's all you need to do. Because you're working on the right path, maybe, then maybe it's not quite fine-tuned as much as you'd like it to be. The next and the third one, the third one is that perhaps if you're paying attention to the squeaky wheel, you'll find that the symptom may be a symptom of another area of your life. So you may know people. So what I mean by this is that people, because it's not us, who have had, which is not us, who have maybe a bad relationship, and you're looking at the person, because it's so much easier to look at them than ourselves, right? And we say, what are they thinking? This person is horrible for them. Why are they still with this person? And eventually, they stop, they drop them, they fix the squeaky wheel by dropping the person. And then, they get another person. Before you know it, it's just as bad as the person. And you're going, what's the matter with this person? They're so much more than this. Why can't we see it? Why are they attracting this kind of person to themselves? And what might be happening is they're fixing their squeaky wheel by staying in that area of their life. They're going, okay, if I let go of this person, then what are we going to do here? We let go of them, and then it's not changing anything, right? So what happens is that we need to go over to a different area of our life maybe to fix it. Maybe the area of our life that needs to be adjusted is, maybe it's our emotional health and wellness, because maybe we're being not self-confident enough. We're not loving ourselves enough. We're doing something that we need to shift us, not just the relationship, but us as well. So by shifting us, that automatically changes. That squeaky wheel, pardon me, is just, it fixes itself. And you're going, oh, great, that's one less thing to work on. Something happens like that, for example, if you're working and you have a job and your boss is paying zero attention to you and you're going, why am I not getting a promotion? I've been here the longest, I know the most. Whether or not I have schooling, I don't know, but maybe that's something lacking, but somehow you're not getting it. So rather than trying to fix and whine and complain about this squeaky wheel at your office, maybe you need to look at your personal growth and development department. Maybe you need to go into education and learn more, get more self-confidence, that piece, so that maybe rather than adjusting the work, if you go here, you'll have more information, you'll have a better feeling about what you know, and your boss will automatically go, oh, okay then. Maybe they are saying something, or maybe somebody in the class will say, I know of a job. You should look at this, because you'll have attracted something else to you, and it'll fix that squeaky wheel, and you won't even have the same job. So just a thought for the third thing is, be aware that it may be a symptom of a different department in your life. So maybe this one doesn't need to be fixed. I use the word fixed, you know what I mean by that. Adjusted, shifted, made better. Hello. Made better. So just as a thought, those three things. So talking about shifting your perspective even a tiny little bit, and also about looking at the squeaky wheel differently as you're working with it. To look at it as not ignoring what is working, keeping in mind the law of attraction. So maybe you need to shift how you're working with it just a little bit. And then also the fact that it might be a symptom of a different cause. Rather than taking the aspirin for a headache, maybe you have something totally different, like some kind of disease that you're going, wait, oops, this didn't help any. This is not covering the symptoms, which is what they do so much now with doctors. They treat the symptoms. And you still might be sick, or you don't have the disease if you work on it from the cause root, wherever that is. So now I can tell you a little bit about the workshop. The workshop is going to be a lot of fun. It's some work because I want you to be able to find what's working for you, what's not working for you, and to shift it so that you can have a richer, fuller life. That's one of the joys I have of helping people to adjust themselves however they want to, whatever area they want to work on, so that they can find their purpose, their richness, their joy. And this particular workshop is all about finding the different squeaky wheels in your life and finding ways why they don't work and finding ways to shift and move through them. So how we're going to do that is we're going to analyze different areas of your life, and you're going to see what's working. Because you always look at what's working first, because you want to feel good about yourself. You don't want to start with the squeaky wheels where you go, beat myself up. I'm horrible, I'm awful, I can't make anything work. You want to pat yourself on the back first and say, wow, I have so many good things, so many people that love me, so many good things in my life. And then you go, okay, and then there are those things. Now let's look at those. So then we're going to look at the squeaky wheels, see why things work for you, why they don't, and then look for patterns so that they can help you in the future to see something quickly change faster. If you go, oh, wait a minute, this particular relationship isn't working because it works over here because of this reason. This one doesn't work because that's not happening over here. So that person may need to go. Or maybe that person is a relative and you just don't see them as often. Whatever you need to do to make it work for you, you'll know more, you'll be clearer on that. And then once we work through those things, and you'll be working with a partner for some of the work to help you get a separate ear, because sometimes you need that, somebody to bounce off of. Then we're going to do guided visualization on one of the squeaky wheels in your life that you want to work on. So you get to choose what's working and what's not. I'm going to do the guided visualization and pull up some of the fears and limiting beliefs. Some of them will release, and some of them you'll maybe be subconscious, you won't even know they're there, so you'll be able to see them and work with them. Release some of it and maybe just make it more in your conscious mind now that wasn't there before. And from there, you're going to have a lot more idea of the possibilities for this vision for that area of your life. So we're going to have a really fun, what I call a game, which is based on 3 or 4 different teachers that I've had. The last one was Mary Morrissey, and she does this time travel thing. I forget what she calls it. But it's a visualization, and we will act as if this vision that you want is happening right now. It's already happened. So you go into the future, like a year or 2, and you say, this has already happened. And when you start feeling it, it starts feeling like it's really happening to you, and you get those feelings, and you can go, wow, I don't have the fears anymore because it happened for 2 minutes. If it happened for 2 minutes and I could have no fear, then maybe this could happen all the time. So what we're going to do is that by doing that with a partner so that you can tell somebody, this has happened to me, this is exciting, it becomes more real. And you're kind of putting the universe on notice. Guess what? This is going to happen for me, so you better get in line. And your subconscious as well, it's like, hello. And that's when things start happening for you. That's when he goes, oh, I better start giving her connections or giving him information that he doesn't have so that he can move towards his vision and his goal that you want. So that's what this book is about. You have some fun, you do some work. So I hope you're not scared of work. And if you're not ready to move forward and make any shifts in your life, you can even come for that because you can get a lot of information from later when you're ready. And it might happen even if you're not ready. So, but I didn't say that to you. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you there when you can make it. And if you have any questions about anything I've talked about or about what I do, I have some brochures in the back, or about what the workshop is going to be, if it helps you make your decision, by all means, I'll be here until you kick me out. So thank you so much, and I will turn this back over to whoever is going to go.